Activation code required. Access granted. Warning. Evacuation sequence activated.
We're back. Welcome to the bunker.
And welcome to the S4 Bunker. Thank you for joining us tonight. Here, coming to you live from the Cascade Mountains here in Concrete, Washington. So, tonight we are talking underground bases, Dulce, New Mexico, Antarctica, Area 51, and the list goes on. We're also going to be talking about what are we shooting down, and what's the state of UAP, UFO, and what's the damn difference between a UFO and a UAP? We'll talk about that tonight, too. So, how's everyone doing tonight?
Excellent.
Wonderful.
It's a nice start.
Okay.
Excellent. It's good to have you back, Keith. How are you feeling?
Not bad. Figure
Good.
only 2 heart attacks in the last 3 weeks. I'm doing not bad at all.
No, you're still kicking.
Oh, yeah. I mean, to me, this is a normal routine, but...
We gotta say congratulations to Keith.
Why?
Because I saw that you have a brand new book series on the market.
Oh, shit.
Believe in yourself and follow your dreams.
Finally decided to... Well, thank you very much. I literally decided that trying to get other people to market it was costing me money with no results. So I figured it was time to figure out how to do it. Because I've actually got 7.
How can they find it?
Go to rkeithandrews.com.
Perfect.
And all of them are listed there.
Nice.
Perfect. Well, make sure we get the link in the chat room.
I can't even see the chat room right now.
It's all right. No, we'll make sure it happens. Let's kick it off with, we shot down 5 different objects over Alaska, the Yukon, and where else? I'm not even going to talk about the spy balloon because everybody knows about that. But
Yeah. By the way, if you were going for a hot air balloon ride, I believe they're canceled for this week.
they're probably canceled for the fucking year. I mean, come on.
Hey, when you say we and when you say the Yukon, that's the U.S. Armed Forces in the
US
Yukon,
Armed
not
Forces
the Canadian
shot it
Armed
down.
Forces
No,
in the
the
Yukon.
U.S. shot it down.
Okay.
They shot from Alaska.
Yep.
Yeah. It's the
Yeah,
US.
I'm still trying to figure out how they rationalize this one. Let's shoot first and then ask if they're friendly.
Well, yeah, there is.
We saw this in Independence Day. It didn't
there-
work well
there's
for us.
that.
Plus, they don't really care because apparently they missed once.
Oh,
And there's this missing Sidewinder somewhere in the Yukon. Feel bad for that gold miner.
what kills me too is, any kind of weapon system, whether you're shooting your rifle, your pistol, you always know what your target is. You know exactly what you're shooting at. You know what's behind, the backdrop.
Canada.
I know,
But they didn't care.
I was talking to somebody a while back, and Canada is not behind the U.S. We are not in northern North America. We are actually in Europe, apparently.
Keith,
Wait.
you need to go to Mount Rushmore and then head up to Ontario and go see the backside of it.
Yeah,
We are behind.
Well, I always thought we were until I was told that Canada is in Europe, And Mexico is actually not in North America either. It's in Central America.
I was gonna say it's probably in Brazil, right?
Well, dang.
Yeah, I don't know I don't know when the rest of us are going to get informed of this.
I don't know.
Did the same person tell you that the Earth was also flat?
And the birds ain't real.
Oh no,
Yep.
no, that was a whole new one.
Okay.
So
No, I get a kick out of it when we start looking at people being the things that are being shot down. I was asked a really neat question when I saw the orb today. I saw a film of a crystal clear orb taken off past us like a bat out of heck, and it was being chased by 2 fighter planes. My son, I showed him the video, and he comes in, he looks at it, and he goes, Dad, what are they going to do if they catch up to him?
well, every time we've ever locked on to an actual UFO, they've lost all function of the airplane.
Yeah.
And you know, historically speaking,
somehow I don't think this is going to work well in their favor.
But all of a sudden, and I haven't confirmed the news sources, so I'm going by my father-in-law who has been watching the news. China's all kinds of pissed off. So, what's
You
your
noticed
thoughts?
that too? I thought there was only one kind ticked off.
Huh?
I said I thought there was only one kind.
No, they're
ticked
more
off.
they're more than
Well,
one kind. They're all kinds of
Okay,
pissed off.
but honestly, all they need to do is, have you seen where like the Chinese manufacturers, like their plants, have those sleep pods that they get to take a nap in? If they all just went and took a nap, they'd be fine.
Right?
I really believe that. The Emperor needs a freaking nap.
Emperor's New Groove.
According
that's
to
something
a,
They don't do well when they don't get sleep either.
I thought the Emperor was like one of those reptilian dudes, and that's why you never see him. He lives in a temple by
Yeah.
himself.
No, well, we can
China had a premiere.
There isn't a single member of any royalty or CEO on the planet that is an off-worlder. That reptilian garbage about reptilians being in control of all sorts of things, that's a throwback to the late 70s, early 80s.
Well, and it made sense though, Keith, like because it was like mainly centralized around Queen Elizabeth. And
Yeah.
have you seen Charles?
Well, I have, basically, and other than that, and that's personal opinion. Of course, I don't like the look of men usually anyway.
Yeah.
Well, honestly,
I do.
a lot of that crap derived from David Icke. So, even back in I believe it was the 80s that David Icke was actually pushing the whole reptilian agenda crap about the Queen, the Queen's reptilian, and a lot of the presidents are reptilian, and come
Oh
on.
yeah, you can see 9,000 YouTube videos about.
Oh, fucking
look at!
absolutely.
I saw her eyes blink sideways. She must be an alien.
See, I look at it this way. Knowing what I know about the reptilians, we would not have a problem with starvation or a problem with politicians or CEOs or slave trading. It wouldn't be an issue.
Wouldn't they just eat them?
Yep.
They'd either eat or kill them.
Right.
Yeah,
So maybe
No.
King Henry VIII was,
maybe.
but past then we
He
don't
never
know.
ate anybody, he just decapitated them.
Oh.
And besides that, he started the whole church not because he wanted a divorce. That was just a bonus. The real kicker to it was he found out the church was getting the money from anybody who died without a will.
I like that.
So he started his own church and he took the money.
Yeah.
Well, I'm an Episcopalian, and that means it's the Church of England, which is the church that King Henry VIII started. So, basically, I always thought he just told the Pope to fuck off.
Ultimately, yes.
He didn't want to have papal control over anything. He wanted control, and it's basically the same thing as Catholics, except no one cares what the Pope says.
Well, they still don't.
You mean people
but-
care what the Pope says?
Most Catholics don't care what the Pope says.
Right.
No.
Look at America. Most of your Catholic Americans don't give a damn what the Pope says either.
I don't even think the Pope
That's
cares
true.
what he says anymore.
No.
He just wants someone to buy his album again.
Yeah.
The Pope?
Yeah.
Yeah, rapping Pope, man.
Oh, okay.
I didn't even know he could stutter.
How come when
Absolutely.
these popes get elected, they're always these vibrant, energetic guys, you know, and they're running around in their cars and saying hi to people all around the world. And then about 2 weeks after they're the pope, they're just kind of, they're shaky and they're old and they put on 100 pounds and they just look startled all the time.
Because they're 700 when they get elected as Pope,
Well,
and they only
I think
have
because
that
they found
much
out-
energy left in them. Okay.
They find out what's really going on and it freaks them out.
If somebody tried to
well,
drown
same
you
thing
in a
with
pool,
presidents. Presidents experience.
Oh,
the
yeah,
same
yeah.
thing. You look how fast they age. Well, except for
Wow.
Biden, who was already ancient. So
To be perfectly honest,
let's look at
anybody
this.
who has that much stress on them
Yeah.
is going to age and look like shit
Well,
within
yeah.
a couple months.
We can't even fathom the amount of stress they have because you look at what we talk about every week and how in the know we believe that some of these presidents have been. Fran, think of the things they have to keep secret constantly, even if they're okay with
I
it.
think,
Yep.
in all fairness, and this is going to get me in trouble, but I think I may be on the out on that one. See, I don't figure that the presidents actually know much more than the neighborhood joker. Most of them are playing
Well,
it by
what do they do at the debriefing for like several hours once they're inaugurated?
coffee.
Well, no,
they
but Keith,
get,
I'm not even just talking
Because
about.
it looks like they're like freaking
Paranormal.
3 years older at least just in the one night.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I'm not even just talking about paranormal.
Well, Corbin,
I'm talking about the political secrets, the military secrets that
Well,
we
yeah.
have to hold.
right.
See, I'm
Strategies
talking
and
to-
plans.
And cortisol is a stress hormone, but it also ages you.
Well, not only that, but it's been known that if you're scared enough or if you're stressed enough, your hair will change colors and it'll turn white or
Yeah.
gray.
Yeah.
well, famous baseball player back in '61 when there was the home run chase, and Roger Maris, his hair was coming out in clumps just from the stress of it. And who cares? It's a game.
Yeah,
But
this-
he was aging. His hair was changing color. Hair was falling out like he had radiation exposure just
Wow.
from playing a game.
Dude, stress
Yeah.
can do all kinds of weird shit to your body,
This is,
man.
absolutely.
this is why I keep telling people, we just have to realize that humans are the people running the countries. Okay, it's just that simple. Because if not, number one, the problem wouldn't exist.
Right.
Their solutions are real cut and dried, but unfortunately, you guys wouldn't like it. I mean, think of it this way: the war in the Ukraine. If reptilians were actually involved in running things, they'd blow up both countries and then ship the starving Ethiopians into the remaining land.
that
True
makes
that.
sense.
True
Right.
that.
And that would be the end of both problems.
They'd
So,
be far
Yeah,
more
that'd work.
pragmatic about things. I can guarantee you, they would not be nearly as flighty to the winds of whatever political party or donor.
No, they'd be just like, poke the button, let's do this.
No,
Yep.
that would hurt the planet.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
You do realize we've got
Robert? Radioactive balls? Really? Radioactive balls?
yeah.
15 years
Seriously?
ago.
Sorry.
15 years ago, we had 3,500 garbage satellites up in the orbit. You drop those, and the problem solved. You don't have nuclear fallout.
Robert, that happened to that guy on the bike.
Got hit by a satellite.
No, he got radioactive balls.
Yep.
Oh,
What's his name? He won the Tour de France.
Oh, dude,
Oh, I
I'm
thought-
on when you fill out.
Lance Armstrong.
Yeah. Fran.
see, I thought it was Bruce Banner that ended up with that problem.
Is that way
Oh
by?
God, we broke Nikki
Good
again.
luck.
Oh, yeah, him too.
Yeah, she's muted, isn't she?
Yeah. yeah.
Fran,
Well, isn't that why Biden fell off his bike? Because the radioactive ball started itching?
Well, that seems to be the most
Oh.
logical answer.
when would that have been? Because I'm pretty sure the president isn't even allowed to ride a bike.
They have a video of him falling off his bike. That was like 2 years ago.
Oh, it
Yeah.
happened.
Here it
Is, is the president allowed to ride a bike?
He wasn't
Yeah.
in. Probably not now.
Yeah, they're allowed to
radioactive-
ride a bike.
Bullshit. They're not allowed to drive, but they can ride a bike.
Yeah, his radioactive balls fell off, so he can't ride a bike now.
They got this
Anyway,
all backwards.
what's your thoughts? Do you think it was UFOs we shot down, or was it UFO? Was it Chinese spy shit?
The only one that was a
I'll-
Chinese spy ship, if you want to call it that, was the balloon itself. The
Yeah.
other one, I haven't seen videos of any of them, so I really can't speak.
They
to
haven't.
exactly-
That's the thing.
Two
They haven't.
balloons.
So one, they haven't shown video of the 5 objects they shot down, and two, they're keeping it really.
Yeah, they have.
Have they?
Oh, yeah. It's a cool video.
Ah,
I've seen a
where?
couple videos.
Yeah, they've got a video
I
of...
saw one of the first
it's-
one, and then the second one, they showed it actually being detonated.
Yeah, so the one in Alaska,
Yeah.
it shows him flying behind it, and then it switches to his cockpit. He is given the okay, and then you see the Sidewinder coming off the plane, and boom, right into the thing.
Okay.
It's actually...
But do you see what the thing is?
Can you tell what it is?
No.
Well, it says made in China on the bottom of it.
The problem is, like, you can
Does
barely
anybody
tell
even
it's
have
a
a
plane.
description of the ship? Like, I realize apparently there's video out there.
And that's what I want to know. Is it a ball? Was it just a ball of light? Was it?
No, it looks like an old B-52 bomber without wings.
Oh, I thought
And
you were going
I
to
don't know
say
if the wings
beach.
were
Oh.
just shot off,
Jesus.
but that's what it looks like.
Was that the second one in Alaska?
So it looks
Yeah,
like
the one that they actually took
The
pictures of
first
on the
one
ground.
that they
so
were
it's cigar
showing
shaped.
was over
There
Montana,
you go.
and that's
No, that
That
was,
was
a,
being
but no, that was a spy balloon from China. We know that.
See, I don't think
Right.
they're after the U.S. They're obviously after Canada. It's like right there in the Yukon and right there in
So,
Montana.
Keith, in answer to your question, a picture of B-52 cockpit. So it would have been cigar shaped, a small cigar
Right.
shaped.
Right.
But it has the B-52 windows. That's what makes me,
But cigar shaped
which
craft,
weirds me out.
cigar shaped craft also have windows on the sides.
Do they?
They do.
Yes.
So they were floating a
I
balloon.
There
have
are
to take a better look at the picture
there are
again.
3 different cylindrical ships, and
Right.
not a one of them will be brought down of the off-worlders. Not a one will be brought down by a sidewinder.
No.
Yeah,
And I don't-
here's
I-
the whole thing about these shoot downs, and everybody's thinking they're UFOs. And look, the first one, obviously Chinese balloon. In fact, they even found parts on it that said "Made in the USA," which is hilarious. But the rest of them, they're not UFOs that got shot down because the UFOs will not allow themselves to be shot down.
Yeah.
Not usually,
Okay,
no.
that's-
We've never,
Could that
you
be
know,
why they changed
there's
the
something else.
terminology to the OH? What is it? UHF or
UAP.
UHP?
I honestly think the U.S. government
so
got
they
a
can
little
use this word.
trigger happy because for a week, everybody gave the U.S. hell because this Chinese balloon wasn't shot down, and they
Right.
looked weak.
Yeah,
So
they
the
didn't tell
first
us
thing
about
they
the
do
10
is they go up
systems.
and they find anything and everything up there and start shooting them down. And it was probably civilian weather balloons or whatever, and that's why they're not saying what they are because they were just shooting down a bunch of sky junk. It was made by humans. It was put up by humans. And who knows? Maybe there wasn't even anything there.
Well,
And
didn't-
shit.
It's
I was
really
just gonna
convenient to they just shot stuff down so they can go, look how strong we are. It's like, no, you shot down a bunch of crap.
Right, and Elon Musk is sitting there. Damn it!
That was Starlink. You just shot down Starlink. Yeah.
oh,
I lost
no,
it.
please
I
don't
was,
take out
I was
Starlink
thinking
or I'm
along
off the
the
air.
lines of poor kids that lost their Mylar balloon.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
That was Mrs. Jones' 4th grade class science experiment.
Yeah, me and Cole were just joking about letting go of a whole bunch of Chinese lanterns.
Right?
So-
I really think the cylinder was definitely a plane.
This may not be a wise idea at this point.
The
right?
back end of it is gone.
Yeah.
Well, the Balloon Boy kid from a few years ago would definitely not be in good shape. Except he wasn't in the balloon. That's right. He wasn't
So
in the
if
balloon.
we
Was that the guy that had all the balloons tied to his lawn chair? Was
Yeah.
that in Los Angeles?
Yeah, there's that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like modern day Up.
Didn't he
Yeah.
die, though?
Yeah.
I think so. You think
No, that
yeah.
guy lived.
No, no, he's
No,
still
he
alive.
fell out of his lawn chair, did he not?
I thought he fell out.
He made
Oh,
it back.
God.
I saw it.
So-
yeah.
So
My bad,
honestly,
Mandela was last week.
Bad news,
so
but he
one-
died before he fell out of the lawn chair. Somebody shot him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would look like an alien.
Or he got hit by a bird. That happens all the
Birds ain't
time.
real.
Bird hits.
Birds ain't real.
That's why he ran into a bird.
Yeah. A bird
Now,
drunk.
The guy controlling
There
the
have
bird was
been-
on coffee break.
Yep. Yep.
now,
Going by Joe's theory, if we were planting our own shit just to shoot it down to show power, we know we have
Right.
unmanned drones, we know we have unmanned aircraft. So if what you saw was an actual aircraft, it could have been an unmanned plane.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes sense for them to use an older plane. That
Right.
doesn't cost them
Just
anything.
to shoot it down and say, "Oh my God, look what we got!"
What they didn't tell us about is the 20 Cessnas they shot down and just never told anyone.
Right.
right.
That was just
And
target
the only
practice.
reason I
That's
have
like
to bring it
overshoot.
up because I'm seeing all these UFO circle people going, "Oh my God, they shot down a UFO! They shot down a UFO!"
Nope.
No, wait though.
No.
Can
No.
There's no
you,
logic in that.
is
I
there
wonder-
No.
is there any alien race though that will release like little weather balloon type things that are non-manned that they're just observing with?
Yes, China.
No.
No.
the one the type of ship you're talking about, they won't bother with. There are ones that will let out little orbs. Absolutely, of course, those also are manned. But the reality is, no, they don't. They don't bother. They can scan the whole flaming planet from orbit.
Oh, well
Why
then there's
come
no
down
point.
disrupting?
I gotcha.
Especially when you think they're actually forbidden to disrupt things too terribly much.
Now, jumping on a third theory here.
Ooh.
Okay, who made the muffins?
It wasn't me.
They're blueberry. They're great. Made out of radioactive balls, but yeah.
Very yum yum.
Whoa.
So, what if? I just think it's hilarious watching Nikki rolling out the chair.
Hey, now in all fairness, she hasn't fallen off the chair yet.
Oh, she's close. She's turning white. Hey, so what if?
She was Caucasian before. I hate to tell you.
Yeah, but I was red before.
Right.
Bright red.
Nikki, that's me.
Oh shit!
I'm the redskin.
I can
What
see
if-
this conversation could go south in a hurry.
Let's go way out in left field. real
We're
quick.
not allowed to take this conversation to the south.
Going out on left field and talking about disclosure. What if? And I really don't believe this theory, but I have to throw it out there. What if the aliens, Keith,
Yeah.
wanted to speed up disclosure, so they allowed one of their craft to get shot down?
If
Or
the
five
aliens
of them.
wanted to speed up disclosure,
Oh, they
wouldn't they
would've
just
showed
come
themselves,
down
I
and be
agree.
like, "Hey, what's up, bros?"
Why
I was
would you
gonna
waste
say,
the ship?
Park on the White House lawn. That was
It's an
pretty
old ship.
much good.
Yeah, they were.
You know what?
They never.
They
the
did
thing
that.
Is, if they desire to speed up disclosure, you don't disclose it to the potential of the government actually trying to disclose it. Come right out and do it.
Well,
The
didn't
problem
they?
is-
The thing is, and the reason I bring that up is because Roswell, according to some circles, supposedly Roswell was the aliens trying to speed up disclosure by allowing their craft to get shot down, which I do think is utter bullshit. But
It's a little hard to call and let them shut down. They were in the middle of a fight.
Wasn't
and it wasn't with the Terrans.
Wasn't there two crafts?
Yeah.
Yes.
no, there's
One
three.
shot the other one down. That's not exactly willingly.
Well, okay, but Keith, just going off, maybe you got lied to by an alien race. just thinking as a new parent of teenagers.
Oh,
What if
God.
it was two kid aliens taking their driving tests and they hit each other?
Technically, that could
Then
be
they
the
are.
case, but you never do that in occupied space.
Then they fail. They've just failed
Well,
to fucking.
yeah, but we're pretty much microbes to them.
Joy riding
Alright,
mom
is
and
this
dad's
really occupied
UFO
space?
flying
Yeah.
around the desert.
And actually, there were supposed to be 3 craft. So the one crashed in Roswell in Mac Brazel's field. The other one went over a ridge, which was a second site. And there was a third one that went into Mexico.
Oh, so the third one just got lost.
Yeah.
San
Okay.
Augustine? Is that
Something
one
like
of them?
No, it just
Something like that, yeah.
figured the other 2 were out of the fight, so why stay put?
He crashed in
Yeah, they can
Mexico.
go home, and I wasn't there.
Well, thank to God for that.
So, Keith, you're saying that the aliens were fighting each other? Because I heard it
Yeah.
different, that the aliens are flying along, doing like they always do, looking at stuff, and we whipped up some brand new radar thing that they didn't expect, and they weren't prepared for it, and it kind of threw them off, and that's why they crashed.
Right, and
I like
I've heard
the
that
idea.
theory too.
From everything I found out about it, no, you had 2 different races that were actually involved.
Huh.
I have no doubt that the new radar cruise ship and radar stuff had been there. But you got to remember, that's radar of a terrestrial nature, based on the literally is based on what they understand about the double helix and the cross current on that. These guys are using technology that just isn't going to show at that time, especially wasn't about to show up.
Yeah, but I mean, like, if there is claims of that, we may have been testing a new radar, and they're like, "Look what it did! Yes!
Well, yeah.
Okay, it doesn't mean that it actually
that's
did
when That's
anything."
when we first came out with the, I believe, the satellite, the satellite communications systems.
It was just a lucky coincidence if that was
Right.
what happened.
Or an
Do
unlucky
you
one.
think?
Yeah.
Right.
Do you think it could be like another foreign country that is possibly
No.
not very happy that we could have blown up the Nord Stream pipeline?
Oh, I can't picture another country being unhappy with
No.
one country being upset with another.
Oh, right. Or maybe even like a distraction from other news that was starting to surface on
Well, they, and that's,
laptops and classified documents and
That-
flight logs and
that's
things.
the other thing. Well, everyone's
Well,
focused on 5
Right,
craft being
right
shot
before
down.
Roswell, you had Kenneth Arnold sighting up in Washington.
Oh no,
Yeah,
we had
so-
way more than that. 1947, you had the Kenneth Arnold sighting. You had the Maury Island incident here in Washington, and then shortly,
They
like a
killed
week
the
or two,
dog.
huh? Yeah, that
Just
was,
with their black
They killed the
sludge.
dog.
Wait, we just had I guess it was 2 years ago. There is a local case that we're actually going to be checking out here in the next couple weeks, where there was a fireball here locally that dumped sludge in a pond.
Hot
And
sludge.
Why is it the UFOs only dump the crap out of their ships up in Washington?
I don't
Well,
know.
you complaining you want it dropped off where you are?
Joe, you lived
Well,
here.
no,
You
I'm not
should know.
complaining. They look at Seattle and they go, "What a shithole!" and they just dump everything
Yeah.
there.
Right?
And nobody would notice the difference.
Yeah,
But the location
it's a
we're
new
going,
autonomous zone.
the location we're going to has a lot of Bigfoot activity, has
call it
has
Taz.
lights in the sky, and whatnot. So we're gonna go check that place out here soon.
But that's the thing. To us, it's sludge. To them, it might not be. It might be something that they actually need in the ground.
In water,
Yeah.
because Maury Island was in the bay, and this one was in a very deep pond.
Well, maybe they're sick of us polluting the shit out of it, so they're like, "Hey,
So they're
here."
going to do it too? That'll help.
No, like maybe it's like a solution to fucking fix some of it.
Take the acid rain out of the soil.
Alright.
Something.
Well, speaking of acid rain,
Mhm.
what do you guys think of all the
Maybe they're
railroad
dropping building
derailment
materials.
that,
They're dropping
have
building
been
materials into the water so they can build their underwater bases.
In a pond.
What was that, Harmony?
What's this
Oh,
about
just the explosions that have been happening with the railroads. Seems that
Oh, yeah.
2 of them have been carrying very toxic chemicals that turn into acid rain.
Oh, hey,
And-
cool.
All three of these accidents have been owned by the same company, and I don't know if that's because maybe all of these railroads are owned by the same company, like all across the, maybe there's a monopoly, or if it's
that'd be my
by coincidence, right? Or if there's something more to it.
Didn't it come out and say that last year there were 1,000 trains have derailed? That's 3 a day.
That's not good.
Then you guys shouldn't
That's
be having
not good at all.
labor shortages.
Also,
You shouldn't have a problem with unemployment. If you're losing 1,000 trains a day, or 3 trains a day, I mean, let's face it, it should be relatively easy to put people to work.
well, what's a little frightening is the fact.
Start a company picking up old trains.
Well, you have to build new trains. You have to have cleanup teams for all the debris and all the hazmat that gets spilled, and yada yada. And another team to replace the tracks. And of course,
You're thinking horizontal, man. You got to think vertical, and you use big Chinooks to pull the trains out.
I watched the track replacement teams. 3 people. That's it now.
3
people. That's all it takes. It
Well,
is so
damn.
automated. It's actually awesome to watch. Because they just redid all the wood in the timber in Cedro.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
And it's only 3 guys.
Huh.
What's a little frightening to
This is where an EMP pulse would solve a lot of problems. We'd have everybody working.
Yeah, but it would also create a lot of problems because there's a lot of shit that we automated that we probably shouldn't have. Just saying.
Just saying. Look at, if Terminator,
Well, that's the
wasn't an
concern
example.
is that you can hack into these automated systems from other countries.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
Cybersecurity is.
Well, shit. I mean, what was it? It was Notorious or Anonymous or whatever. Hacked into it from our own country.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes, absolutely.
Well, the reality of it, from my standpoint, is pretty simple. If we take a look at the state that things are in, the solution would be, if we were leaving this up to off-worlders to solve, the solution would be as instantaneous as it was brutal. Their methods are, to say the least, a little less than socially acceptable.
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't go about raising taxes.
Yeah, but like when it comes to cyber warfare, we don't have to worry about other countries. We're already We're already in a cyber war, but it's Cold War. Both sides are frozen because both sides can do it. Anonymous was able to do it.
You got to remember, the people that are building the cyber security,
they work for both sides.
A lot of them are also building the viruses in the first place.
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah, because they know their own equipment. Hey, look at this.
And they're getting paid by the highest bidder.
The reason Anonymous was able to do it so well
All
was
of the
because
money.
they're not with the country.
No, they're all over the planet.
And they're just looking for chaos.
Yeah. That's all Anonymous is.
It's like an internet purge.
Kids.
Yep.
well,
If they're looking for chaos, they should look at my filing system.
If
if you really want something to worry about, start worrying about. Okay, Russia's having a hard time. Just like their planes, when they were flying in Ukraine at the beginning of the war, they were using some of the pilots were using their phones for GPS. So clearly, their military infrastructure is not as good as everybody thought it was.
No.
Which also means that they're relying on the internet to relay between all their missile silos and everything else. What if we get a Bond villain situation that hires one of these anonymous people that does just want to see the world burn?
That's what I'm saying. The world could burn easy. It just depends on who wants to do it. We get one person in there like the Joker status who goes, fuck it, and we're screwed.
Yep. Well, yeah, all they are, for the most part, a lot of those guys are anarchists anyway. They want the world to burn.
They don't care.
No.
Those people really need to raid Animal Farm. Except I think that's been banned.
Yeah.
Probably. All the
I
good
read
ones
that
are.
as a child.
It was burned. It was book burned. They probably burned it.
That's what I said. All of the
Does
good
anybody
ones.
else get the
man.
feeling these days after listening to the news that all the smart people have left the planet? And
Yep.
They left all the dumbasses in charge of everything.
But
Every-
honestly,
That's
tell
why
me,
nothing's working.
who
Well,
Right.
haven't you noticed when you take a look at technology, it's being built by the lowest bidder. Now, I can see a problem with this personally.
All right.
But honestly, I think all the smart people died of old age.
Wow. I don't think
Or
that that's
dying
true.
of old age.
I mean, seriously.
Well,
All the
I
damn
have-
hippies from the 60s are in charge now. That's why it's going to hell.
Who's in charge?
The hippies from the
The
60s.
damn hippies.
Hippies were in charge. Everybody be high.
Yep. It'd be a
Nobody
better-
would
it'd
care
actually
about
be a
anything.
better
We'd
plan.
all have global peace, man.
Yo, I mean, you think about it. One of the best headlines I ever saw came out of the Chicago Tribune. Right, front page of the Chicago Tribune about 5 years ago. Massive rise in violent marijuana addicts.
Those damn
Yeah.
violent marijuana.
Those,
That
the
makes
synthetic
sense.
forms actually do make you violent. I've heard of this, yeah.
And if you
What
run
now?
out of Cheetos, it's gonna
The
get
synthetic.
violent.
It's called Marinol.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's the new one, but yeah,
Yeah, they've got a bunch of new synthetic,
The synthetic,
marijuana products
yep.
and weird stuff out there. It's a bunch of morons just putting chemicals together. Go, hey, this will get you high. Yeah, you'll kill
Oh.
your family, but who cares?
That's
Right.
why you grow your
And it's
own.
kind of like
I mean, people
the
are
difference
actually buying fentanyl
between-
because they want to buy fentanyl.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and it's these ultra high doses of things that don't have the other constituents to break it down, which makes a problem. It's like when you have, several glasses of apple juice, you'll get that like sugar spike in your blood sugar, and your body can't handle it the same as if you were to eat an apple, and then the fiber slows down the delivery system of the sugars to your body, and it's kind of like the same thing when you're, taking a natural supplement, or not supplement, but a natural
Product.
organic plant matter, right? That's when you can break it down properly. But if it's synthetic, it doesn't have all of the fiber. It doesn't have all of these, properties in the cannabinoids. And it's just like the THC. And when you have the THC without all the cannabinoids, the body doesn't receive it the same way, because the cannabinoid receivers are actually the ones where the healing comes from, is the CBD. So,
Yeah, see, that's the thing. This is again mankind playing around and thinking it's going to do better than nature did.
I'm
yes,
just going to
exactly,
start.
and it doesn't work.
Well, and
The original marijuana plant was perfect. It was put here by whoever made all the plants and stuff, and it was put out there for everybody. It got you high. It cured your pain, made you think of stuff, and it's fine. So nowadays, everything is being processed and broken down and added chemicals to it and going through this process. They fucked it all up.
Yep.
well, and then you look at
Yeah, you can get land-raised, seeds and things like that, but they're not very easy to come by.
You look at what Joe said earlier with all the smart people left, and it left all of us dumbasses. We've got universities advertising that they're microdosing people with LSD and crystal meth.
Yep.
And like that, they are giving the human race way too much clearance there. Because I guarantee you, the half of the people that
Volunteers.
saw that,
Test studies.
but half of the people who saw that in the paper or on Facebook and everywhere else said, "Well, LSD's safe now."
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Gives
Those
people
cheap
a
bastards. Microdosing? Give me a full dose, damn it!
Yeah, if microdosing makes you feel better, then a full dose should do something a whole lot more effective.
Well, okay. For the LSD one, they're giving it to Alzheimer's patients, and supposedly.
So they forget they got an Alzheimer's?
Well, yeah, it's supposedly bringing them back. And
They tried that back with The Walking Dead.
I have no
They tried bringing
freaking
them
clue.
back too.
I have
Well,
no clue,
I've heard
Nikki.
theories on this, and so some of the interesting information about dementia and Alzheimer's falls under the category of dementia, is that it is possibly created by trauma, and when we can't process the trauma, then our body starts to shut down backwards. Our memory centers start to shut down backwards, and we revert into childhood where we didn't have that level of fear, and then we go all the way back into infancy. And in that,
I'm screwed.
when you're dealing with certain, that's what meditation and different levels of forgiveness and connection with, the divine, and that comes into many people as they grow to find that peace within. And so a lot of hallucinogenics, if they're used in very small amounts, can be cohesive to being allowed to go into those traumatic moments and help them to find peace within those. And so that's
I
kind
don't
of
know how it
the
actually
science
works,
I'm seeing.
but I figure if a microdose brings them back, a full dose is just going to make them have it again. Because
It could. Well, medicine is very important to be careful in the dosage.
LSD
whatever
would give me
medicines you're
dementia.
taking.
Yeah, with Alzheimer's and
You know,
dementia, you've got
speaking of-
Hold on.
and plaque on the brain, because my mom has Alzheimer's and she has dementia, and plaque on the brain is very, very significant with what is going on with her and a number of folks that are in her the facility that she's in. And so it's not just what you're talking about; it's also you've got the issue of trying to remove the plaque.
I believe
it's
there was
deeply
something.
embedded on the brain.
There was something in the article that said small microdoses of LSD did help with that, Nikki. I can't remember exactly what it said, but in some way it
Like a
did do that.
decalcification.
There are a bunch of different herbs, if given in the proper dosages.
At the proper
and
stages,
in the
too.
right- Thank you. That's where I was going.
Yeah.
Not just the dosages, but in the right order, in the right sequence, and exactly what was just said. So, can help, but it's a hell of a process.
Yeah,
It's a major, major process.
this is in
and
the first stages
so-
of human trial.
Right, and that, well,
Yeah.
that's the thing too. Once
Oh, yeah.
you reach like your 3rd/4th stage of Alzheimer's, maybe dementia's
It's gone.
different because it doesn't actually eat apart your brain, but the Alzheimer's does. It does, and once you're missing
Yes,
that
it does.
piece, you're missing that piece. There is no coming back from that. It's gone.
Actually, there is. That's the funny
There
part.
is music brings it back. Frequency. That's their scientific test.
Well, and that's
And
why I
once,
use
once the plaque is there,
music with-
they often say it's hard and it won't come off. But it's like we know it's plaque on our teeth or plaque on our pineal gland or anywhere
I
in
won't
our
argue-
in our bloodstream. It can be dislodged and it can be cleansed through certain
won't argue
uses
the
of,
fact
like you
that
said,
they
the
tell
right
you.
amount of herb.
See, I always look at when they say it can't be done. I always look at it from a very personal standpoint on my part. They told me many years later, that once you die and end up in the morgue, you're done. I don't agree with them for a lot of reasons. The brain can be damaged, but the brain can also rebuild itself.
Neuroplasticity,
Correct.
absolutely.
And exactly. And
Well,
there
I mean,
are
we
a
don't
lot of
even know
ways
what the
that
hell it's capable of
rebuild
doing.
synapses. There's a lot of things that you can do to rebuild synapses in the brain, and I've learned that from folks who got very severe disabilities that are it's all neurological, and they have shown me time and time again you can rebuild brain synapses. It takes a hell of a long time to do it, but it can be done.
here's
And
the
there are
fun
many
part
different
about
ways
Well,
to do
it
it.
can be instantaneous if you understand the
yeah, you
quantum
have to.
field.
There is a neat little thing that people don't realize, and they did discover it some time ago, that the cells that are designed for relaying nerve impulses can be reprogrammed. You can actually reprogram any cell in the body to fire off a different signal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and since scientists have already reasonably accurately determined that every cell in the human body is replaced every 7 years.
Right.
Every
Yes,
7 years,
exactly.
we should be perfectly healthy if we actually let ourselves be there. I think half the reason I end up letting my heart continue shutting down is because it's such a neat start for other people when it stops and then kicks back in.
Right.
I've heard an
With a
interesting
shock.
theory about all these things you're all talking about: the Alzheimer's, the dementia patients, autism in kids, all these neurological problems, and they all seem to kind of stem from stuff. The rise was in the 60s and the 70s. And I was thinking about it. What's something that's in everybody's food? All the processed foods that you buy at the store. What is
Corn.
it? Sugar. But they don't
That's
use
just what I was gonna
regular
say,
sugar.
corn.
They use that aspartame and all these people drinking Diet Cokes and all these.
High
It's
fructose corn
fake
syrup.
sugar.
Exactly.
It's synthetic. Yeah, it's all
Yep, it
fake
doesn't
stuff.
have the fiber to break down. And it's not recognized by a
Exactly.
genetic makeup either.
Everyone's trying to treat the symptom. You got to treat the root cause. Root
Well,
cause of
yeah,
this, I
funny.
think, is all
Okay,
that fake
yeah,
sugar
but-
they put in our food.
Okay,
And
so
the fluoride they put in our water.
Okay, whoa! But all the people in
behavior
guys,
problems
guys,
and autism and
Jesus
all
fuck.
sorts of food allergies, things went away.
Yeah, I don't think so. And so all the people in the 1800s that were just sent straight to an institution and lobotomized, that's just for shits and giggles, or what? Or it
In
was
some
some
cases,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was just regular old diseases, man.
really.
You know, a lot of those people.
The president
were sent to the
lobotomized his own
asylum because they
daughter. I
spoke
mean,
French.
they were doing all
Yeah,
sorts of crazy
exactly.
shit.
Exactly. They lobotomized one of the Kennedys just because she liked to smoke cigarettes.
Yep.
And
How
women
Well,
who
dare
never
she.
probably because she was doing some other things that they didn't like as well, like making her own decisions. Saying
Oh, yeah.
no to her handler.
Wearing pants.
Saying no to her father, Joseph, which was not something you would want to do.
See, but that's the thing.
Exactly.
Keith, what was it that you
That wasn't
said?
an argument against what I just said. That was a mislead. That's all you did. You didn't argue the fact that none of them had dementia back then. You just said,
Well,
no, they were just doing it because they wanted to. Like, come on.
You know,
It's been around for a long time.
Yeah.
These diseases, a lot of these diseases, have been around for a long time. They were just categorized as something else,
Well, they were called something different.
or they were called. Oh, they have. They went senile. There was that for years that a person.
And
oh,
women
they're
used to get the
senile.
vapors.
You know, I mean,
Oh, they used to get women
Well-
cocaine
obviously.
issue.
Obviously,
Right.
there's more of it now than there was, but our population is also freaking increased
It's
by
getting
an
big, buddy.
astronomical amount.
Yeah.
Where do you think the word hysteria comes from? That's, it's tied to female.
Hysterectomy?
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah.
So,
The problem is that we started allowing women to vote and own land and stuff.
Okay, shut up,
yeah.
Joe. Jesus fuck.
I'm hoping that was a joke.
Oh, the voting is fine. It's the driving we don't want to let them do.
Okay, enough. Jesus Christ.
He takes it to the next level.
How many of you
Well, there is something to part of that because there was, part of the liberation movement actually kind of came from, I should say it kind of stemmed a lack of connection in the family. It actually made it harder to survive for Americans. So, there is that, but I don't think that joke is really the most relevant right now.
It's funny, though.
So,
It was
in
not
the last
serious.
3 weeks,
I'm going to get canceled now.
but the last 3 weeks,
Watch out.
between the Homeland Security and news sources, they have talked about a rise in UFO sightings.
Yes.
Yes.
What's your thoughts
Well,
on that, Keith?
UFOs are in the air. Of course, it's a rise.
Well, okay.
Everyone's looking up.
Hold on. In the last how many weeks? In the last
Is it
3
just that
weeks.
people can't identify things, or is it more, like you said, more people looking up?
Well, because 3 weeks
Yeah.
ago there was a Chinese freaking balloon in the sky and everyone's looking for it. Friend, there's a
Well, okay,
comic.
perfect example of that. What Cole's talking about is everyone's looking up now.
Right.
I remember the day we shot down the second one over Alaska. I thought, well, this is interesting. I heard a weird roar, and I walked out and I looked up, and I even got a picture of it and put it on my site. Some of you may have seen it.
Yeah,
The U-2
buddy.
spy plane going over my house. You saw that, right?
Yeah. But, like, also, you guys got to realize, too, we have a comet going past us that we'll never see again in our lifetime.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How many
so a lot
people
of
are
Green
people are
one.
looking up to that.
Yeah, so how many people are out
flying
there
Kermit.
with
It's
telescopes?
kryptonite.
That could be.
Because they're out there with a microscope. Okay, they should probably go back to school, but they're in telescopes.
Well, we also have a inordinate amount of drones that are out in the world now.
No,
that
absolutely.
people work
Yeah.
by.
Those are the
And
guys
they-
walking around with cell
And
phones.
we also have the internet and
Yes.
like instant messenger and like posting on these social media where like you can't, once it's out there and somebody else downloads it, yeah, like there's the Men in Black just can't show up and make you turn everything off and be quiet the same way because it's already been done. You know, like the information's already out there. It's kind of like with, you know, why you don't post on anything glued on the internet, you know, because somebody else may just copy it before you try to delete it. You know, a lot of people, like teenagers, are having that problem where they're not thinking about what they're posting in their selfies, and then they try to delete it, but it's way too late. You know,
Teenagers, adults are doing it.
To a point.
right?
I'd like to just say, thank God
just
they
an
did not
example.
have cell phones when I was a teenager.
Yeah,
There-
well, it's
there
just an
is-
example because even if the courts try to make the person delete something, like you say, if you know, like your ex-boyfriend posted something about you and you went to court and they made him delete it, it's already out there. Even if he deletes it, it was a very big story in the news about 5 years ago that happened in this high school. That was, I think, in Idaho or something.
There is things
Yeah.
out there that have gotten leaked that can be scrubbed, Fran, because too many people aren't careful enough not to.
Oh, absolutely.
So, like,
But
You know-
it's the chance that somebody else downloaded it before it got scrubbed, right?
well, and that's the thing. It's got to be, in order for them to actually scrub something completely from the internet, it has to be important enough for them to do it because it is a huge process, Fran. Because
Yeah.
it's a complete algorithm going after and looking through every single item. It is going through every piece.
Yeah,
of it for
everybody
a
says
certain amount
that,
of code.
Cole, but Cole, everybody says that, but how come no one's ever found Hillary's emails?
'Cause there weren't any.
30,000 of them. Any of those show up?
Deleted.
Nope.
Because they were important enough to
Deleted.
be scrubbed.
Deleted.
You
Yeah.
know, the funny thing there, I know
Has
one chap
anyone that ever
built
tried?
I knew one chap that built a virus scanner that was priceless. Every time his computer got hit by a virus, the scanner would track down where that virus was built and burn the
Right.
mother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be so nice.
Right on.
The
You know what I'd like
technology's
to do is
there.
have something like that for those phone calls we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, that would be.
That would
They
be
call
nice.
you and their phone would melt right in their hands.
No, it would explode.
Jesus.
I like
Inspector
exploding.
Gadget. This
Boom.
message will self-destruct.
Well,
In 3,
I had a
2,
problem
1.
with-
There goes your hand.
we had a problem here, which really pushed things to the limit. But my son was having troubles on the computer. He was getting bullied by 3 people at the same time. And all of a sudden, 3 computers crossing in 3 different countries. And, well, I don't know if they were 3 different countries. But 3 other people's computers all of a sudden burnt.
Wow.
Well, I walked into the room and I heard this, and I looked at my munchkin and I said, "That's it, I'm done." And all of a sudden, they all went offline. They all called him back later and apologized for it, and then explained that all of their computers had all crashed. All at remarkably similar times.
Okay, what was there was a James Bond movie about that. It's a while back. GoldenEye. There was
Yeah.
a guy there, their computer programmer. He would send a spike back at people that would destroy everything they had.
Yeah,
And that was, 20 years ago? 30 years ago?
Right.
closer to 40.
So
30.
Keith,
Yeah.
Keith, I want to hear your is there a spike in UFOs? Is there a certain race that's found Earth that's all of a sudden interested? Is there anything to it?
Well, number one, there is a spike, but it's more an issue of more people are looking up.
Okay.
Yeah.
What it boils down to is there's a lot more new races coming into the area.
Why?
Because, well, we are right now, from a socioeconomic standpoint, this is an extremely exciting time. Mankind is on the verge of either bombing themselves back to the Stone Age,
right,
or getting their act together and actually communicating.
Yeah,
Or
it's
the
a great
word has
show
gotten
right
out,
now.
and all the aliens have figured out that Earth is like this great big Disneyland. Show up here on vacation, watch these hairless monkeys run around and do stupid shit.
Well, that's ultimately
that's more like the zoo.
Or we
Well,
could be a
it's a
very good
vacation.
history lesson.
If you look at history,
Yeah.
every
Well,
time
and
Mars
the thing
gets
is
to its
if
closest,
something happens here, it ripples out and it affects everyone. And so there are, many different races that have different agendas that they want to see played out here.
every time Mars is at its closest point, there is an increase by almost triple the UFO sightings. Well, that's because of field trips from Mars. Which is why I get a kick out of it when people go, "Let's colonize Mars." I think they call that an invasion in most people's language. It's already occupied. You could have an argument.
Damn colonizers.
Yeah.
So here's the thing.
Terminology.
We've got two countries, well, technically three if you want to look at it: China, Russia, and the U.S. that all
And Bolivia.
all almost have their finger on the button. Not quite, but almost. At what point, since we know many of these races actually want the planet intact, are they going to intervene?
Actually, they really don't.
I thought they did.
That's the misconception. They don't want the planet. They want the information to remain here. They're not interested in humans. They're interested in the information on the planet.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
They're trying to build a wall,
but they want the planet intact. Correct?
The planet intact, yes, but they're not worried about people.
No, absolutely not. They don't give a shit about the human race, but wouldn't they want to at least stop nukes from ruining the planet?
Well, that's
the thing. So who's they? Are you using like all-encompassing all the races or a certain race?
Certain races. So some races
they
don't
all
give two
don't.
shits.
There are some that are very interested in human survival.
Here's the thing. If nuclear war, as in everybody starts firing up so it becomes a global nuclear war, they'll shut the nukes down. But individual nuclear testing they won't bother with.
Okay.
Even an individual nuclear strike they won't bother with. But if it escalates to a global event, they'll shut everybody's down. They won't pick sides. You know, you got to remember.
Is that what happened on Mars?
Events in the past where there's been like jamming of guns and different acts of miracles that had happened in different events in history. So that could definitely be a possibility.
Well, they had Malmstrom Air Force or the base up in Montana. Malmstrom.
Montana, yeah.
All of their equipment melted. Oh, they had UFOs flying over the sites. The nuclear
there was a UFO
sites.
hovering over the missile silo
Everything
that actually
destroyed.
disabled the missile silo. A mouse.
And this is why I say, people keep going, "Oh, let's shoot down the off-worlders." Guys, it's not going to happen that nicely. It's just not going to happen that easy.
I have a question, and maybe it's stupid, but nobody seems to be thinking about this. The galaxy, the universe, everything that's out there, right? It's a really big place. There's all kinds of places out there where things live and thrive and die, and there's civilizations all over the place. What the hell is so interesting about Earth? We're way out on the galactic arm in the middle. We're like the hillbillies of the galaxy, Why are they all coming here?
Because of the database in this environment, in the neural net. Humans have a unique signature, and they are still primitive enough to actually work with.
Do you think is there a possibility that this could be a Star Trek situation where the Vulcans were kind of keeping an eye on us, and
I like
once we
it.
got
I like it. No, I like it. Keep going.
oh yeah, so they discover warp technology. We're messing around in CERN with things that are I would prefer they didn't mess around with, but maybe we're getting on the verge of something big in there
Well,
now. Suddenly,
Given the way you phrased it, the answer is yes, it's possible. Okay, from my understanding and from my interactions, that's not what's going on. They're actually waiting for mankind to get their act together, because here's the thing. Mankind is the only race that they've run into that can take a totally logical solution, go completely the wrong direction, and still land on their feet.
Yes! Humans kick ass!
Exactly what they're worried about.
Okay,
Because humans are also volatile.
Keith, I gotta argue
Yes.
with you on one point. There has got to be one race in this entire universe that we could probably take down at least one ship.
They're
Because
absolutely...
every species, I would say, has a Florida.
No.
And now I'm
Bunch of
not.
meth
I,
head,
we're the Florida.
no, we're not.
Bunch
Whoa,
of
whoa, whoa. We
crackhead
are
aliens.
in no universe but Earth are we the Florida, okay? Friend, because we're the penguins of Antarctica. Flightless fucking birds. That's all we are for right now.
What happened to
But
Florida?
What happened to Florida?
Dude,
You need to visit the
Bath
internet
salt.
a little bit more.
that's
Bath
where
salts happen
that's
to
where
Florida.
they eat fucking bath salts and turn into zombies.
But I'm
And
pretty
that's
sure
where-
there's a couple gentlemen in Florida that if we
that-
sent them to Antarctica,
They had a guy in the
Happening in
freeway, a
Florida?
naked guy eating people.
Yeah, that's where the
Oh my
stupidest
God.
people on the country go.
I am pretty sure there has
Wow.
like if there's a man in Florida that we could send to Antarctica, he'd get his ass kicked by a singular penguin.
Yep.
So there's got to be one race that we could kick the shit out of at least one of their planes. Like,
Oh, there is. But the problem is, the planes that you could kick the tar out of don't come to Earth.
God damn it! Send an invitation for us.
Hey
I
man,
mean, you got
Stephen
these guys
Hawking's
that-
tried that.
Interesting-
Nobody
interesting
showed up.
Fact. Penguins stink like shit.
Well, yeah, they're
Penguins are horrible, horrible animals. They smell so bad.
Do they call?
Why do you think they're always having a
They're
bath?
cute.
Do you know what?
Incredibly
Oh,
cute.
Peacock.
Oh, wait.
Hey, Joe,
Cole actually took
Yeah.
a penguin from a zoo.
the feeling's mutual. They don't like you either. Fuck you.
I like penguins, but at a distance.
No, Cole actually tried to steal a
See, and here I
penguin.
thought you were
I
going to say
did-
under glass.
Do not say that online. I did not try and steal a penguin. I picked one up.
And put it in your jacket.
Were you in
You
Dallas?
abused a penguin?
No, okay. So, Keith, have you been to West Edmonton Mall, Keith?
What?
Okay, so you know the aquarium area.
Yeah.
You remember how low the wall was there?
Yeah, it wasn't hard to get over it if you really wanted to.
No,
Well,
he
but when
he
the little
wanted to.
baby penguins come right up to the wall, doesn't it seem like that just means you should pick one up? Like,
So let me get this straight. The news headline is Cole abused a penguin.
No.
He just tried to take it home.
he was quite happy in my arms.
man.
He was gonna bring it back.
oh my god.
No, I got banned from West Edmonton Mall.
Yeah, you did.
Nice.
Yeah,
Cole got 86
Most
for
people,
the
most
mall,
people can't even rob the place and get banned.
right?
Right.
but Cole got 86 for the mall for taking a penguin.
So
Come
all you
on
got to
now.
do is grab a penguin out for life.
Well, that crossed something off my bucket list. Find somebody that a penguin has a restraining order against.
Oh no, that penguin still loves me, I bet.
Yeah, it wasn't the penguin. It was the
Just in
human.
case you were wondering, they are so fucking fluffy.
And they probably don't smell bad, do they?
Fluffy. The babies probably.
Those ones definitely
don't.
don't.
They're little babies.
Oh, babies are
dude.
definitely fluffy.
Yeah.
What a stupid animal, though. It's got feathers and it can't fly.
No, it's wearing a suit, dude. It's wearing a suit.
No,
What other
platypus
animal
is a
do you
stupid
know of
animal.
that actually wears a black and white suit?
You know, like, if you think about it, the moa couldn't fly either, and it had feathers.
And fuck off. We're humans.
The moa kicked out. The moa used to eat people, didn't it?
We have brains and we don't
the moa,
use them.
not so much. The four hawkers,
Right?
yeah.
We only
There's
use
a lot
half
of
of our
birds that
brain.
can't fly. They actually burst. It's like when they just move from one bush.
They fly
to the
underwater.
bush. It's called bursting.
They fly underwater, man. Nothing else could do that except the UFO.
Anyway,
Oh,
Rick.
aliens!
Wait.
Penguins are aliens!
I want to hear what Rick, because I know he's been biting at the bit. I want to hear what Rick found out about Antarctica.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah. Yeah.
oh wow! So I finally come back to this, and guess what? I can't get the page to pull. But no, I did.
Well, of course not.
Well, no, okay. I did have enough information though that I remember off the top of my head. Most of the alien theories that they have a base down there, it all ties back to the Nazis.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
And it stands to reason, of course, that yes,
Yep.
if you're just regular, if you believe in UFOs, if they're going to be here and they've got a base, of course, Antarctica, it's remote and it's fairly uninhabited. But yeah, most of the UFO theories with a base in Antarctica all go back to the Nazis and all of their it jumps
Yeah,
off
there was
from
like a treaty, right?
right. Well,
And they broke the treaty.
Right. Well, they had the Nazis had a little. They basically just showed up one day and like started dropping little markers around and like, hey, this is our place, and they're British and
Didn't they
everybody
call
got started with.
Didn't they call it something weird like Swaziland?
Yeah,
or-
New Schwabenland.
New
Yeah,
Schwaben?
New Schwabenland, that's it.
Yeah.
Neuschwaben.
And they did. They had a whaling base there, and they had refueling for some of their U-boats that would come that far south, but that were, I guess, running up to Argentina, and that's where it actually comes from, is because the theory is that they spirited the head Nazi leaders out in the U-boats, and they had a U-boat that showed up in Argentina just after the war had ended, and so why are they all the way over here now? Well, it's an empty boat. The theory is that they dropped them off at the Antarctic base, Hitler being included. And then that's where we get the Operation High Jump, which is when we sent our planes, our Navy down there.
That was
And
they got their
Admiral
ass
Byrd.
kicked.
Yeah, and they got their ass kicked. So now the question is, who was doing the ass kicking?
The penguins.
Yeah.
Mutant penguins.
It's either the Nazis with the aliens. It's the aliens, or it's just the Nazis themselves using some kind of wonder weapons, some miracle tech.
But let's pick that part apart real quick, because if it was the Nazis, don't you think they would have won the war? With that kind of aircraft?
But this is
No, they knew Germany was toast, so they went somewhere else.
and they took their wonder weapons with them, and they were able to build more of them.
But where are they
They
today?
had the bell.
Who's to say they didn't win the war?
But where
Yeah.
are they today?
Oh, I like
I
that.
don't speak German.
There you go.
The Nazis won the war.
But
okay.
Well, who was
Yeah,
head of
it's gonna be
NASA
an
all
ass-
those years? Von Braun.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, a
And
Nazi.
there were
A Nazi put us on the
several
moon.
scientists. Yes.
Yeah.
Nazi
Right,
scientists
yes.
came to America and infiltrated
Operation
many
Paperclip.
of
Yeah,
our
Operation
factories.
Paperclip.
Yep.
Shouldn't we all be driving Mercedes?
If they came here, they probably infiltrated
wish.
other countries as well, all around the world.
Well, and of course there was one of the head Nazi. He was their best commando. He had led the mission to get Mussolini. He was at a castle up on top of a mountain there in
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Otto something Scorzani.
Otto. Yeah, Scorzini, that's it.
Yep, and
Big scar on his
that guy-
face, and the guy who did all kinds of crazy shit.
Yeah, and he got Mussolini out of this. I mean, they just flew in this little plane and off they went. I think they parachuted in, didn't they? Maybe they parachuted.
Yeah, I
Anyway,
think so.
point is, they got him out of there, and that guy went on. He got through the Nuremberg trials somehow, and probably because people wanted him for his expertise and
The
he did work
information,
for a
yeah.
number of-
Probably because
he
the
worked for
CIA
a
got
number
him
of
out.
nations through the years. Yep. So
You know,
there's
I'm reading an
lots of-
interesting novel right now, and it's got it's alternate history where the aliens sent a probe to Earth. It showed up in the Middle Ages, and they said, "Okay, yeah, we could take these guys out." And so over the hundreds of years it took them to get here with their invasion fleet, they land right in the middle of World War II.
Oh, cool.
And they're completely overwhelmed by everything going on. But Skorzeny is one of the main characters in it.
Nice.
Wow.
Really?
Somebody must have caught a History Channel, or I can't remember where I saw it at, but it was on YouTube, I think, actually.
Yeah.
So I'd never know the guy existed, but that's amazing that many those kind of people were out there and survived. And the Israelis hunted a lot of them down, but yeah, the others just sort of slipped through. And if you really want to get kind of like creeped out about things, a lot of our current medical, where we're at, the discoveries and everything that we, all our medical advances in the past 60 years, or since the end of the war, that was because of the research they were doing on the Jewish, the people in the concentration camps. I forget the.
Yeah,
the
but look
doctors.
at the companies that are big in the pharmaceuticals, like Merck. Those are all German companies.
Yep.
Yep, exactly.
Well, they all came from paperclip. That's why. So there was a big intelligence drive from the U.S. side because Russia was also after German scientists. We did a whole show just on paperclip here. Last year? Yeah. And so there was a big drive between Russia and the U.S. trying to get these German scientists and doctors and psychiatric mental health. So yeah, they were doing, and these were war criminals that were doing the worst kind of shit to humanity. They were experimenting, on Jews. They were they were trying out psychotropic drugs. They were using they were using chlorine.
They were microdosing people.
No, not even.
If you think about it, most of the
Now
military,
we're doing that.
most of the governmental military are doing experimental drugs on, most of the time, on their own people to find out what's going on. To find out what they can do.
Absolutely.
Well, our own military.
Absolutely.
They're using our own military as guinea pigs. They have forever.
Reefer madness.
Oh, yeah.
But again, this is a backwards way of doing it.
Yeah.
If we take a look at that from the stand, because I keep getting asked who's running the countries, which race is running the countries. Sorry, guys, humans are doing the whole 9 yards to themselves.
Yeah.
We're the hillbillies of the galaxy.
The reality is, if the off-worlders were doing it, or if any of the ancient races were, you wouldn't have the problem of war. One of those standing jokes is, if mankind is so good at killing each other, why do you guys have a population rise?
Yeah.
It's one of the standard things they look at. It's like, okay, now what's this issue about having rules of war? War. Fight each other, somebody dies quickly, war is over. There are no crimes involved. The war itself was the crime.
Right.
Oh
yeah.
But this idea of you can't hit somebody when they're mourning somebody else's death. It's like, why?
Oh no!
They're only gathered there in the whole
It goes farther than that. According to the Geneva Convention, according to the laws of war, you can't shoot down. You can't shoot at a paratrooper until he hits the ground. It's a war crime.
Right.
If you shoot at someone in a parachute coming down, knowing full well that motherfucker is shooting down at you, you can't shoot him until his feet touch the ground. That's just one.
Hey, who's the genius that came up with that idea?
Geneva.
Probably a
There are
parachuter.
some of the rules
Probably
and
somebody that was in
NFL
Operation
rules that I agree
Market
with.
Garden.
Huh.
What?
Like
Yeah.
what?
Like what?
Like what?
For not being able to use landmines. For
But
Well-
why? They're so fun.
are they?
Well, chemical
Not for a
warfare's been
6-year-old kid.
outlawed
Oh, no, of course
forever,
not.
never.
Doesn't mean it's
Buzzy
not
was a good example
happening.
of that, though.
Exactly.
Princess Diana,
we
when
have
she went-
Chemical
Yeah.
warfare was outlawed against other nations, and yet the United States,
We
it's
stockpiled.
illegal for the government to test shit on its population.
But
Well,
come- come on, Joe. You know what? Every country does
But
that.
that's its own nation, so that's
Every
not part
country
of it.
does that. No, you can't just single out the United States because every country has done it.
Yeah, well.
No, I'm just talking about here because I know that's the law here. I don't know what the law is in Bolivia.
Oh, Syria. Look
Well,
at
the Bolivians
Iraq.
don't
Look
know
at
laws in
fucking.
Bolivia.
Come on. It's been that way
Shouldn't
forever.
nuclear
They're right?
weapons
Absolutely not.
Syria's not testing chemicals; they're just throwing people off of buildings and stuff.
Bullshit.
When you were talking about paratroopers,
The Russians are
being shot,
testing in Syria.
Mm-hmm.
When you were talking about paratroopers and being shot, I had cousins in World War II
Mm-hmm.
where that happened, and I'm specifically thinking of one specific individual, but I had a number of cousins. But anyway, that did this. Jumping out of planes, and they were literally shot down in air.
Right.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
and it was something he survived. It was something that he rarely, if ever, talked about, even to his wife, to his children. A couple of his kids were pretty upset over the fact that they couldn't get their father to discuss it because it was important, they felt, to hear about very specific information, but they didn't realize how much of a trauma it
Right.
truly was.
The PTSD.
And what was described. Oh,
Yeah,
the severe
no.
PTSD it
Two,
caused.
two major
Absolutely.
Because
incidents.
he knew so many
what you're
men
talking
that were
about.
in.
See,
There were
here's
so
the
many
thing.
men that were shot down that he witnessed, and as a survivor,
Yeah.
he had extreme survivor guilt.
Well,
So
two of the
when you
main
talk
things
about
that
it being
happened.
war crime, it comes from that situation, I believe.
There's something we got to remember here, guys. In all of recorded history, war has never brought peace.
No.
It brings
No.
quiet. It does
Correct.
not bring peace.
Correct.
Absolutely not.
Correct.
There is
Economic
no, there
boost.
is
It ends
no
up
winner.
in peace when everyone stops killing each other.
Dude,
Well,
we
there's
have
no-
never,
there's
ever
no winner
had
in
That's
war.
peace.
quiet. That's not peace. People still hate each other.
There are no winners.
Nope.
That's right.
And
The Korean War technically is not over.
I got to ask a question.
No.
It's just an armistice. It's just sitting there. They're still technically at war. They're just, waiting
Okay.
to go someday.
The paratrooper.
Yeah.
thing. I got to ask a question about that.
Okay.
When did that become a thing?
That was in the 1940s that they established the Geneva Convention. A whole
Like
list
after
of-
45?
I believe so.
Did we have paratroopers
Oh,
in Korea
I
and
think
Vietnam?
No, it was before that.
Was it?
I think Geneva Convention goes back to it.
That was after World War One.
Was it after? Yeah.
Yeah.
After,
Okay.
yeah.
It was after World
Because-
War One. They said, "Look, stop using mustard gas on people, stop shooting prisoners, blah blah blah." All the rest of that.
Yeah, World War One pretty much was as bad as everybody thought it'd get, and then
But,
they kicked it
but
down
I'm
the
going
road
to
for
tell you
30
right
years.
now, it's really up to. I mean, I don't believe in laws of war to begin with. It's war, but yeah, some stupid politician came up with. It's what it breaks down to,
But I want to know how they determine, because, okay, when they're doing a run
right?
and dropping the paratroopers,
Mm-hmm.
the guys on the ground start shooting the AA guns.
Mhm.
What if one of them accidentally hits a paratrooper?
Okay, so that's
It's friendly fire.
that's a casualty of war. That's a,
No,
no, not
okay,
friendly
there's-
fire,
there's
but that's
two-
a casualty
there's
of
two
war
main
because they're
holes.
allowed to shoot
Holes.
at aircraft. If they accidentally shoot a paratrooper in that process, that's just a casualty of war.
You mean they can't shoot
Well-
direct from the ground like a single soldier?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
That's what I was asking.
It's against the law, but look, there's two main things where paratroopers were shot down while they were coming out. One was D-Day when they invaded France
Yeah.
at first. It wasn't
Yeah.
so much that, but it did happen then. But one of the main things was Operation Market Garden, when we tried going. You saw the movie Bridge Too Far.
Bridge Too Far. Yep.
The guys, they were dropping parachutes during the daytime, and the Germans were just shooting them out of the sky. They weren't shooting at planes.
No, they were just actively. It was target practice.
Okay.
It was war.
First of all,
Yeah,
that's kind of our fault. Why the fuck would we drop them during the day? That's dumb. Like,
humorous.
they're dressed in full green against a blue sky. Like,
Okay, I gotta be honest. I'd be a
Daryl
terrible.
Montgomery. There's your answer.
I'd be terrible. at
Montgomery's
this whole
the
war
answer.
act
Exactly.
Yep.
Because
Goddamn
you-
British.
Okay, and
I hope
this
none
was
of you are
all-
British.
Here's the thing: if you're going to have a war, back in the Middle Ages, the leaders had the idea. They went, "We're going to war," and the leader of whichever country jumped on their horse, jumped in their car, whatever. They went to the front of the line and went, "We're going. Follow me."
damn right.
Yeah.
That is not the way it's done now.
Yeah.
No.
Well, they used to also fight in fields in lines away from civilians.
Yep.
So the civilian population, at least in the battle, would not get hurt. Now, whether or not the invading
Yeah.
army go past and like rape and pillage, then yeah, that was a separate situation. But
Yeah,
as
I
far as
never
that-
really understood the whole idea of all you guys line up on this side of the field. I mean, we've been here for days. We know you're lining up. We're going to line up on this side of the field. 30 guys deep. You guys got 40 guys deep. We're all going to march at each other with bayonets and guns. You can't hit something from 50 feet away. Okay, go.
I was
God.
told, you can't, don't shoot somebody if you can't see their
Oh, and by the way, we're going to wear bright red uniforms.
Oh,
The thing we got to remember here, guys, is we can continue going backwards and going back into these same methods, or we can start looking at a different approach.
Well, guerrilla warfare is the different approach.
Well, no, I mean we're not talking warfare anymore. If we went for peace measures, talk measures, obviously there's anger and there's violence in the human race. It's just the way that it works. But if we right, but if we actually started exploring the other options, we might actually fucking get somewhere.
We want Star
If
Trek.
we all get together and we all realize that people are people, and we could take all the guns and the weapons and the nuclear weapons and the tanks and everything and melt them all down, and there's no more weapons, and the world is at peace, then the aliens land and take over.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty much.
And this is what we have been taught from the get-go.
Well,
Fear everything, including peace.
That's
Brilliant
right.
idea.
But
How's that working for you?
Keith, I don't fear it. I'm waiting for it because they're probably going to bring a replicator from Star Trek with them. And I want a replicator.
Rest assured, you don't want those guys here.
apparently, replicator food does not taste as good as regular food does. So,
Well, I wouldn't imagine. I
Probably.
mean, it's replicated, so.
All I want is to walk up to a replicator and say Earl Grey hot.
Right?
Well, wait a minute. We saw
Jesus.
we saw this in what was that Duplicity, where if you make a copy of a copy of a copy, then that copy of that copy is not the original at all. That's a
Michael
messed up
Keaton,
copy.
was that the one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
yes.
He was a little slow, but it wasn't his fault, Kayla. He liked pizza, okay?
Just saying.
Getting back to the UFOs, and I'll go to Keith for this.
Yep.
If they suddenly aliens landed on the White House lawn and hey, we've had enough, we're here.
Didn't they already do
you
that?
think
No.
that was Stay the Earth Stood Still, but that's where I'm going with this. But I'm just thinking, would Earth collectively, knowing that there are beings capable of interstellar travel, would we all collectively get our heads out of our behinds and go?
Absolutely not.
That's
People are
the-
idiots. There would be rioting. People hoarding toilet paper. It would just be dogs and cats living together. It'd be
You
complete
got to
anarchy.
remember, if that were to occur, first of all, the entire spiritual background of the human race, the whole thing it was built on, collapses. Okay, that would be your first problem.
Yeah.
Next problem.
Well,
Based on that, the economy would collapse because
Yep.
everybody would rush and pull all their money out of their banks. The stock market would crash because religion is the foundation of a lot of people, a lot of countries.
Well, and I gotta be perfectly honest. I think that Independence Day, the original Independence Day, did this really well. There were separated people. There were the people
Yep.
that were like, "Welcome, alien brethren." There were
Yep.
people that were, "Oh, we got to shoot them down," and then there were people that were, "We're taking off to the mountains,
We're
man."
already in the mountains.
Like,
We're fucking golden.
you know, I think it really would happen that way. We would have subcategories of people that go, "They're good, they're bad, they're evil,
they
they're."
nailed that one right to the wall.
Yeah,
That one, they
absolutely.
absolutely hit on the
Absolutely.
Well, you think about this. Everyone always says, "Oh, the spirituality of everybody across the world would break down." It's like, now wait a minute. Basically, what we have here is a bunch of people sitting in one place. Us. Somebody comes in from outside and attacks us. Well, hasn't that been what's been going on for 100,000 years on Earth?
Not from
People
the
sitting
outside.
somewhere, and these guys come over the mountain and attack. It doesn't mean all those people getting attacked lose their spirituality.
No,
Do
no.
they?
And it
But you're
also
talking.
could affirm
But
some
you're
of people's
talking.
spirituality.
Ronald
They could
Reagan.
affirm it because they
Ronald
have,
Reagan
you
said
know,
it perfectly.
people from the-
It was an outside.
Well, yeah,
force
we'd
he was
all have a
talking about.
common enemy.
But
Unfortunately,
so recently, real quick, NASA did $1 million project where they pulled world religious leaders together to analyze what would happen to the population if, based on all these different religious theologies, alien life popped up. And their consensus was, oh, we would be okay. Now, look at it. Mormons believe in alien life.
Yeah.
Jehovah's Witnesses
Yep.
have a concept of alien life. Scientology, obviously, alien life.
Paganism, for sure,
Well,
alien
no,
life.
no.
But it's a little bit
But we
different.
won't freak out.
Alien life.
I'm
Huh?
looking something, guys.
What's that?
Well, even in like more Christian and Jewish and things like that, there's angels, which could be, you know, portrayed as people coming from another place from the sky.
Well,
And-
Yeah, but
But-
half the people
but-
would be saying they're all devils and demons.
Yeah,
Right.
you've got two camps with all these religions. So
Right.
with Mormon, Jehovah Witness, all them, for the most part, their theology is based on alien in some form. But then you got, well, Heaven's Gate. Wait, they're not here anymore. But
You might be overlooking something here, guys.
What's that?
what's that?
It is one thing to believe something is there. It is another to deal with it face to face.
It depends on how
Absolutely.
much it depends on how much of that alien theology they actually pushed. On the other side of the camps, you've got the other, which I do think I may be wrong, but I do think it's a small minority of these camps that believes all aliens are demon.
Absolutely.
But
And it's the other side that all of them are nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like I
yeah,
said.
yeah.
One way, it's all one way or the other.
what do you think about Project
Yeah.
Bluebeam?
Well, I mean,
Whenever
everybody.
I hear about the people saying that the aliens are all nice, it just reminds me, somebody brought it up a minute ago, the movie Independence Day, where all the people are on the roof of the building saying,
Yep.
"Yay, welcome our space brothers," when they get blasted.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love that.
Well, at least
scene.
they were nice enough to kill him in one shot.
Right?
Yeah.
Or was it an illusion that the people observing saw that they killed him, but they really didn't kill him? They just transformed them into something else.
Wow.
Well,
That's a sequel.
Well,
They had a sequel. You don't want to.
But you know
no,
what?
this is when the Day of the Dead comes back to life, and all these guys get up come out of the woodwork, going, "I didn't really die."
Right.
Yes.
But you
Well,
know,
that's like also Dolores Cannon. She says when the two world split happens, it's like this
I don't
split
like
in the
Dolores
two
Cannon.
different worlds that one will not realize that they even died, but in the other world, everyone else thinks that they died.
What if they
Well,
didn't die? What if they just hit him with a portal gun?
I'm thinking when the two worlds split that we're not going to have a whole lot of problems.
Have you heard of that, of Dolores Cannon?
I've only vaguely heard the name. I don't research.
It's pretty fascinating. She started out as a psychologist, and then she turned into a past life regression therapist in the military. And then she, her husband was in the military, and she was like on the bases with some of the like wives and stuff, and she was doing past life regressions. And then she became, she started doing quantum healing technique, and then it was like past life regression. And she's also an author, and she writes about these, like a log of her different past life regression therapies. And she has found all over the world has found like certain threads that run through these questions that people have been asking. And then there's just one thing where she describes this whole breakdown of, this two-world split that many people all over the world are talking about. That's one of the reasons they came here at this time, to participate in this time of it's like the Vesica Pisces, how you have like two circles intertwined, and we're like in the middle of those two circles where there's like the fish shape, the Pisces, the Vesica Pisces in there. And we're popping apart like two cells when cells divide.
I don't like Dolores. No, I've seen her work.
I got nothing against her.
She's not one of my favorites.
Yeah, she's crossed over now, but it's fascinating to think about it.
There are certain things that Dolores talks about that I do agree with. There are quite a few things that she talks about that I completely disagree with.
Right.
This is one of them.
I know. I've seen a lot of her work. I'll be nice. Work.
There's quite a bit of it where there's a number of it where she is on the track, and she's headed in the right direction, and then she takes a left field.
Yeah, she.
And then there's other sections.
A translation
then there's
of
other sections that are
it's not really like a reporter.
Interesting information. And then there's others where it's just I'm like, no, I call bullshit.
Right. Well, it's not her that's saying all of this stuff. It's people all around the world. So she says she's like an investigative reporter.
I know.
I'm just saying for the people listening. She says that she's, an investigative reporter, and she is delivering this information from other people in these sessions where they're going, under hypnosis. And so, of course, there's going to be like the information that's
start of the problem right there.
Going to be more resonant to all of our timeline.
You want to see a perfect example of hypno-regression? The Satanic Panic of the 80s.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
I think everybody has a right to their own opinion on life. And whatever you do, and cool.
Keith, what were you going to say?
It is so easy to screw up a hypnotic regression, to literally drive it accidentally down the wrong road, down a false road.
Absolutely.
Way too easy. But the reality of it is...
Go ahead, sorry.
From everything I've seen, and I've gone through hypnotic regression and what have you, but the thing I found out when I got looking into it is, first of all, if you tell somebody something, if you make it believable enough, they'll pass it on, and this will become a societal norm.
It'll become reality.
Yeah. And that is where a lot of information comes in.
What I do know is what I do appreciate about her is she created a form of hypnotic regression that is, I think, based on everything that I've come across so far, the better ones out there, the better form out there regarding hypnosis. And that's saying something.
Well, I certainly won't argue the point that it was a good development.
Yeah, I would very much like to find out more. Because I do know people that have studied under Dolores when she was alive.
Right.
Um,
You can literally still find her
So-
lectures and stuff on YouTube, where it is actually her lecture.
yeah.
All
Yeah.
I'm saying is I ain't letting nobody mess in my brain.
YouTube.
Mm-mm.
Yeah,
That
I'm lucky.
hypnosis.
Mine's always scrambled.
Well, and there are ways that you do not have to lead a person when you're dealing with hypnosis. There's
Okay.
plenty of ways to where you do not have to lead a person.
Mm-hmm.
And
No, it's have
that's
to.
the
That's
key.
why I said accidental.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Isn't this?
If you ask somebody what color was their hair, right off the bat, you've now told them they've got hair, whether they did or not, and
Yeah.
the brain will kick in and fill it in.
Mm-hmm.
See, wasn't that part of that like super soldier program thing that they talked about putting people under hypnosis so that they could like call them in with a word later on? Like there was this whole thing in
yeah,
the yeah.
There was a code word.
Telephone.
That's the Winter Soldier.
Right.
That you have a series of
Yeah.
code words that you, and it activates them and turns them
Okay.
into
Telephone. It was the movie.
Right,
No,
yeah,
right. There was
get
something.
away, get
something
away
like
from
that.
the movies. It was
I mean,
it was an
in
actual operation too in Nazi Germany when Hitler was actually working on a secret soldier program. Also, the CIA was involved with the same shit. It's a code word.
Right.
You know, Winter Soldier was a prime example of it. But I love using movies for examples to a point. But I also, you have to look at the root of where the movie got their information from. And
Well, yeah.
Right.
that's an example of, yes, that was a program
Not
that...
their information, their idea.
Right.
Well, nothing
Well, in
comes
some
from
cases, the
well,
director got
every freaking idea comes from somewhere.
information.
We don't know that. That's the thing, because he might be completely off base
Right.
with everything.
Mm-hmm.
It was just the idea he got from it.
Right.
Yeah.
Good point. Good point.
The thing is, even
Yeah,
if
the
he's
nice
getting
part about it.
information- even if he's getting information directly from the source,
Mm-hmm.
the source is able to lie. It's human.
No, they wouldn't do that.
No. Humans lie?
No.
Like a
Myself, I won't. That's what gets me into trouble.
Oh.
My outlook is pretty
Anybody else notice that there was a sudden uptick?
Uptake in what?
Uptick.
I was just wondering if anybody else noticed there's a sudden uptick in history with UFOs showing up saying the world is doomed and we're here to check things out and make sure. And it happened right about the same time women got to vote and were able to own land and stuff.
Joe.
Are we going back to this
Really?
again?
I figured. No,
You
I
gotta
figured
mute
I
it
could
real
say that
fucking
because I've
quick.
already
Shut
been
up, kid.
canceled.
Joe, you're lucky you can't see Nikki, because Nikki's about to rip your throat out.
That's okay. She'll do it gently, one layer at a time.
No.
Okay,
Oh,
all
she
I'm
loves me.
saying, all I'm saying. here.
You're spot frickin' on because I had a situation to where I did that to a etherworld being. So yeah, I know how to do that.
Good crowd.
I will say, the one thing I wish stuck around from the whole women's liberation thing was the lack of bras, because those fuckers are painful. Yeah. Okay.
First,
I
I was
agree
thinking
with
that
that.
common sense would be an idea, only that wasn't really common then either.
I don't know who invented it, but the most brilliant thing I ever saw was the front latch because they were so easy to get off. Pow!
Like you would know anything about that, Joe.
Of course, it was a man that.
Oh, yes, I do.
Oh.
Not for the bigger woman, it's not. I'm here
Right.
to tell
Comes
you.
right off.
Oh.
And Kayla, I love you to hell and
FYI.
back. I love you to the end of the universe and back.
Uh-huh.
But if you didn't wear a bra, you'd knock yourself out half the time. So
Well, yeah, but it would still be more comfortable.
Oh,
And
God,
women,
we don't
okay.
have to wear bras on our nuts.
And we could definitely,
That's what
definitely
made
not
radioactive
ever.
balls.
yeah,
You won't wear a codpiece?
Well, not
You know what's really comical part there? Almost every article of clothing that women wear today was worn by men first.
Yeah.
That is true. That is true.
but like,
Yeah.
you know what?
Even high heels.
Yep.
From what I hear, because I'm not old enough to know yet,
Yeah,
But around
sure.
the age of 70 to 80, you almost could, if you're still like a guy who likes to jog in the mornings, could use a bra for your nuts.
Your radioactive balls would hit your knees.
Because you can probably still knock yourself
My
out.
friend actually makes. My friend, he has a company named Sparrow, and he makes like silver lined clothing. He makes like a whole like boxers and all sorts of things, aprons to protect your goods.
It's like copper fit, but he's using silver.
Well, it's like a foil helmet, you know, but silver, yeah.
Nikki just visualized a guy knocking himself out.
Hey, all I'm saying is this is why astronauts have an age. Because the second that they leave and they go into zero gravity, alright, they are suffocating themselves.
Their balls are wrapped around their neck.
All that oxygen like straight to the brain.
No,
Interesting thing. Someone just mentioned astronauts. I was wondering, maybe Keith would know this. When the astronauts go up, eventually it's going to happen that you're going to send up a couple into space, and they're going to conceive a child. What's that child going to be like?
Oh, you can't have sex in space.
Why not?
Because they haven't figured
They haven't figured out how to have sex in space.
They haven't?
No,
I can figure it out.
They got a married couple go up. Are you telling
You
me
should
that
get one big suit, like a little like.
So
a
this
sex
has
suit.
actually been fully tested by NASA. They have spent millions on this, trying to figure out
I
how
could
to
figure it
conceive.
out, or I would die trying.
You gotta be kidding me! They don't have a chamber for that.
Well, everything flows differently in space. Just saying.
This is correct.
Wow.
It flows differently in space, but when you're dealing with the fluid traveling inside the body, the musculature of the body makes sure it flows the right way.
There's been several astronauts where their blood started flowing the wrong way.
Right, but they do like astronaut training in swimming pools. So
No,
I mean,
I'm just saying
wouldn't it
that
be a
this
lot
is
like being underwater.
This is years
Yeah, you can
of
have
zero
sex
gravity,
underwater.
though.
I know that
This
one.
isn't-
You just
works.
go. So whenever you see floating,
Okay, whoa.
Whenever you see
Space and
floating-
being underwater are two totally separated
Yeah, no
things.
shit.
One of
Whenever
them you
see
have no
floating-
gravity. One of them you have an extensive amount of gravity.
Whenever you see floating in
It's
space,
funny,
you
this
don't
is
put
what
in
I've
your
always
mouth.
said about
Right.
testing animals for people's illnesses. It's like, where's the logic? It doesn't work well.
Well,
Right?
But they've been doing it for years.
like I get they test for space in water, but have you seen the suits they wear when they do it? I don't think sex is a possibility, guys.
No.
In that outfit, no.
Yeah.
You have to be real bendy.
Well, can't they make like a giant chamber suit that you could both crawl into?
Why would you want
To be
Come on,
okay,
yeah.
whoa. To be perfectly honest,
Bubble space sex.
only way that we're conceiving in space is if we float above it. Just saying.
Turkey baster.
Turkey basted, right? But
Cut the end out of the condom.
Okay.
Just cut a little hole in the end of it. This is not hard work.
yes, this is like us. Okay,
Scientists.
all right, but
Rich,
we
I am so
spent.
glad
That
you said
was-
work.
Greatest
My
fear,
favorite
guys, is
kind.
an effective
God.
condom when you're a teenager. It's like
Okay,
you have
so
a
here,
hole in it somehow, and it's like
but this
Now, we
is
have
how
to remember
this.
something, guys. We have to remember something. You're saying scientists have done all this. I
Okay,
saw a report the other day, about 3 months ago, I guess,
yeah.
where it took world-leading scientists 3 years to figure out that shark attacks can happen against humans the massive majority of times in shallow water. It took them 3 years to figure this out.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
how
I don't know
about?
about you, but it took me about a second and a
Most
half.
scientists don't have sex.
Well,
Humans
okay.
are mostly in shallow water.
That
Just-
would be the reason. But the leading scientists of the world took 3 years to figure this out.
So it takes
Well, just
10
like
years to
in
learn you can't
space-
fucking
Well,
fish.
okay.
So
Back to
it
my
took-
original point about the sex in space. It wasn't so much sex, you perverts. It was like, how would the child develop
It
in
depends
space?
on whether the child is raised in space, on a
That's what I
low
mean.
G or on a high G environment.
Well, they'd be really,
child's
really,
raised-
really gangly.
Born in space.
If he is born in space and raised in space, then it will develop according to the gravitational flow in the ship it's raised in.
Right. So if
It
it
be
was
able to come back to Earth because it wouldn't be able to handle the
it wouldn't be able to handle the gravity or the pressure of Earth.
No, the G-forces exerted alone would kill the child.
It evolved to handle the gravity.
They wouldn't be able to breathe as well in the same fashion. I mean, it's still
Okay,
use the lungs.
Let's
the
throw
entire
in the
atmosphere-
fact that we may have one of those space stations that have gravity on it because it turns, like in the movies.
Mm-hmm.
So if it did develop in space and had gravity, how would it develop though?
If the
What would
gravity
be
was
different
matched
about
to
it?
Earth,
it would be
If
the
the
same as the gravity that it developed in.
if the gravity they were raised in was matched to the gravity on Earth, as well
Exactly.
as the pollutants and the chemicals and what have you that are in Earth's atmosphere, then the individual will be fine.
That
But the
explains
purified
those
air
jumpers of
is
asphalt.
So let me take this whole thing one step further. All the aliens that are coming here, I'm sure they're female aliens and male aliens.
Yeah.
Are their kids that are born in space because they're coming between the two places different than the ones born on their home planet?
The answer is yes.
Yes.
And the reason it's yes is because as a mother of human hybrid ET children, human ET, whatever. Anyway, hybrid children, I know that my children are birthed on ship, on craft.
Right.
Okay? They are taken from me after 3 months gestation in me, then gestated in a container, whatever container, then born. Then they are alive for approximately 30 days while on craft, taken from the craft and moved to planet. Okay? This is how my children I know have been dealt with.
So they're adapting them.
At some point at some point between the 26-day mark and the 30-day mark of that child being alive, and their growth rate is extremely fast.
Right.
So between that time, they are literally in the process of growing to full. This is what I've seen to growing, or seen parts of this, how this works. They literally grow to essentially what looks like a full-grown human, or thereabouts, semi-human. Anyway, and they are taken. The children are taken to a planet, and they have classes.
If they have accelerated growth, do they also have accelerated death? I mean, they only last like 10 years or something?
No.
Wouldn't
Not
that depend on the
according to what I
planet, like the sun cycle and the pineal gland and how it received the light and the night and day cycles?
According to what I understand, they are taken not just from one planet, but to a number of different planets in their process of learning. Now, I'm not exactly sure how all of that interplays regarding the the stuff that you guys were just talking about. I kept
So essentially, they're adapting them to live in different environments early enough in life that they can adapt to the different environment. That's what you're saying?
Bingo.
Correct.
Okay, cool.
Yes, correct.
Okay, if humans
does that make
suck
sense?
so bad, why are the aliens all here trying to interbreed with us?
Because we're one of the only races that can still breed.
We must have something that is absolutely amazing that they don't have.
Yeah, the ability to recreate and repopulate.
DNA, too. Genetics.
The reality is the human genome is the easiest one to actually manipulate from a hybridization standpoint.
Correct.
Right.
It's
Well,
the
and we
easiest way to
also
say
have
it.
the ability to procreate still naturally, which a lot of races have lost.
Well, now wait a minute. There are some races that actually have physical sexual type relationships with a human female. There are others that do not. I am in a program where they do not, where where an embryo is implanted. But there are other women on Earth, human women, who are taken, who are having sexual relations with beings, races of ETs that are anatomically correct, so
Compatible.
to speak.
Do you think that's the same thing as
Yes.
like an incubus or a succubus?
That's
Say
the funny
that to me
thing.
again.
Succubus aren't exactly compatible. That's kind of like saying the praying mantis get along well after sex. You know, the succubi are not exactly the nicest people you want to share a bed with.
Well,
Yeah.
No, you'll get
I was
it.
married to one, so yeah.
how many other races procreate through like fragmentation instead of sexual intercourse? Though there's got to be
Through
some
what?
that do that, like
Oh,
through
absolutely.
fragmentation. Like
There
Yeah.
aren't many that actually, at least not that I've dealt with.
okay,
Okay.
Well, look at the story of the Nephilim in the Bible.
Try that again?
Yes.
The story of the Nephilim in the Bible.
Yeah, well, I haven't run into very many that actually, myself anyway. I ran into one that's really cute. When they procreate, they literally blow up to procreate.
oh cool.
Wow.
You don't want to be near them.
So kind of like a
Fortunately,
phoenix.
they do it of their own accord. They don't do it with a partner.
That's an explosive orgasm, right?
Wow.
I mean, they blow up.
They literally blow up.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
where the-
so it would be like a
wait. That's where the turkey baster comes in.
no, it'd be like a phoenix then, from ashes to rise again.
No, there's no fire. There's just explosion. There might
Just
be
an
fire
explosion?
around depending on what you run into.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So more like if a whale gets beached and it just blows up because of the gases.
So they use a turkey baster and then blow up.
Awesome.
Oh,
That
God.
is not what I thought you said, Kayla. I thought you said a different word other than phoenix.
Oh,
That's why I was laughing so
Hey,
hard.
Nikki, Nikki, I heard penis too. You're not the
Did
only
you
one.
say the penis blows up?
Yeah. Well,
I'm not down for that.
it's okay. It's okay. It's a reverse praying mantis. Okay.
A Phoenix Rising.
You guys are gross.
Penis rising. Oh
Oh.
my God.
My God.
You do realize that people are twisted, right?
Oh, hey, we're coming
Hey,
down to the
okay.
last 8
So
minutes
I
of the
do
show.
have one more question about
What's up? Reproduction.
reproduction and alien races. Okay. So there's got to be alien races out there that produce more than one at a time, kind of like dogs have litters
Like a
or
cat.
it, right?
Oh yeah, like the Tolians.
Okay.
The Tolians are a wonderful group of people. They reproduce with 100 children, or
good
more.
God.
Okay.
You think 4 is bad?
Yeah, well, I was
Oh,
thinking
shit.
like
like
you know, they're like when fish lay eggs, they lay like 1,000 at a time. There's got to be other races out there that when they procreate like a whole freaking planet worth of them. You know?
Many of
Right, like the
reptilians
ant being-
are still laying multiple eggs.
Yeah.
That's like 10 football teams in one fucking shot.
Right.
Pretty much. And just about as temperamental.
And where are they at?
Which ones?
They're the ones that have 100 kids.
You remember that ship I told you at the beginning of the show? That I said that orb that was in and that was being chased down by
Yeah.
before the beginning of the show.
Yep.
That was the Tolian starship.
Oh, hell, they were trying to bring their kids here.
Now, are they tiny or are they
well.
bigger?
Well, when they're adults, they're like 5 foot tallish.
Oh, okay. So they're not like microscopic or anything. All right.
Oh Lord, no.
Okay.
No, you see one of those, you'll recognize it.
All
I
right.
will shortly. I've actually got. I don't know how to get it to you, but I've actually got a picture of a Tolian here.
Ooh.
Is it coming out in your second book?
It is. It's coming out on the second printing in the first book.
Okay, cool.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
Sweet.
What are we talking
Yeah,
about?
I've got. That's one of the. Like, I've got only. We've only got 16 pictures left to do. So I was
Nice.
talking to the artist this morning, and he confirmed that he'll be able to get about 5 every 2 weeks done. So by the time he's got them all done, I'll finish doing the editing, and therefore we'll put it out. I mean, I'm way behind from what I wanted, but welcome to my world.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, if you take a look at the Tholians, they produce 100 at a time.
Okay, but how many of those 100 actually live to full adulthood? Like, is it like fish, where like only a percentage of a percentage do?
Only a very small number, yeah.
Yeah.
Most of
Okay.
them end up dead.
Gotcha.
This is why they produce so many.
Right, because most animals, anyways, that produce that many is because of natural forces. They only end up with like 5 at the end. You know.
Well, I don't know if we want to call it natural forces, but when they produce it, it's kind of like producing your own snack food.
Oh.
Jeez.
Jeez. So they're cannibalistic.
Nom, 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 nom.
To say the least.
Huh. What happened to you?
The idea of snack food,
What?
these guys are born in a dead run.
Oh, okay.
So, reproductive gardening.
Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to ask Eric, if you had to eat one of your kids, which one?
Neither. Neither.
Wow.
I've trained
You know,
them
there are
both with-
parents that would look at it and go, I have to choose.
No.
I gotta be honest, I'd eat the cat. Fuck it.
Yeah, that,
Well, I've got
that-
the one, and he's
That's what
kind
you
of
guys aren't
gamey
getting.
like his dad. So yeah.
we know where these kids have been.
Yeah, I don't want to eat any of that.
We're not putting that in our mouth. We're on, next week, flying
I didn't do
cryptids.
it.
Ooh.
Flying cryptids.
Flying cryptids. Okay.
Okay, so we're talking like Mothman and Thunderbirds and all that
No, we're
jazz.
talking like
Mothra.
Mothra.
Yeah.
The Phantom of the
Mothra.
Mothra.
Okay, not just cryptids, creatures. Cryptids and creatures. Let's
Cryptids
do-
and
'cause I want
creatures?
to do dragons. I want to do all of it.
Okay.
Alright, so flying creatures.
I've heard more about dragons today than I have. Yeah. My child's into dragons now.
I gotta be honest, I don't really know much about dragons. I don't.
Oh, we'll
They're
talk
nice
dragons.
people, but they will eat you in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
No.
No,
like
no,
the-
no.
Not my dragons.
What-
My dragons are
what was the
A
protected.
lot
movie
of people think
with,
food tastes disgusting.
you know,
Okay,
They
are we?
prefer gemstones.
Do vampires end up on that list or nah?
Sure.
Vampires
Fuck
don't
yeah.
technically
Yeah.
fly.
They do when they're in bat form.
And they do when you catapult them.
Yep.
Oh, they fly.
Okay, that's called falling with grace.
Falling out of grace. What?
holy
But-
crud,
but-
that's a deja vu moment right there. I've had this happen before. I've had this exact conversation. I've seen it.
That was
Literally
last
seen it
week's
because I'm
show.
looking at people. I'm not kidding.
The coolest dragon was the one that had the movie where Sean Connery was the voice of
That's what I was
Dragonheart!
Dragonheart. Yep.
Yes.
Dragonheart.
Yeah, that's it.
Love that movie.
And that is bullshit, by the way.
What?
My favorite's Never-Ending Story.
How to
Falcor,
train
the
your
Good
dragon.
Luck Dragon.
What?
How to train your dragon.
How to Train Your Dragon? Toothless?
Yes,
It
that's
is.
so good.
Yeah.
I don't know, I was
Toothless.
kind of fond of Smog.
Yeah, well, okay.
Oh, small.
That will,
There
be
you
my,
go.
that will always be my number one, but
Okay.
not the. I don't like the movie. I like the
Right.
Okay, and
Yeah.
I'm just that dumbass that's like, Puff the Magic Dragon!
You probably remember H.R. Puffin stuff then.
Oh, yeah.
Oh God.
All
I
right,
prefer
ladies and
not
gentlemen.
to.
Thank you very much for. Thank you very much.
Wasn't
for
he
joining
the
us
mayor of
tonight.
Lidsville?
Okay.
I've
We
been
are
trying
gonna
to drink
take-
most of these things out of my memory for years.
So we will see you all next week on Wednesday night at 10 p.m.
And I'll be
for
54.
Flying Cryptids and Creatures.
And
That's
so
right.
far, Rick, all you've managed to do is forget what you had for breakfast.
Eric's
Yeah, pretty
got a
much.
busy, Eric's got a busy week. He's got to finish his run around the planet for the next time.
Yeah.
Saturday.
So,
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
friend,
Who, me?
Yes.
Who's having a birthday?
Eric.
Yeah.
Eric.
Eric.
Oh, happy birthday,
Harmony,
Eric.
Harmony, did you
Yes.
just have a birthday?
Harmony, birthday?
When's your birthday, Eric?
Saturday.
Saturday.
Mine's tomorrow. Happy birthday.
Oh, happy
Oh, happy
Oh, look at
birthday,
our
Harmony.
people. I'm on the 25th.
Aquarius. Oh, you're a Pisces. Awesome.
Oh,
Happy
he's
birthday.
on the 25th.
I thought
too.
you said had Harmony.
Holy crap! Was everybody born in
Well,
February?
you just missed out on the leap year thing, didn't you?
Sorry,
No,
I'm Torian.
almost.
My daughter was due on leap year. Born on the
Oh.
first.
For
No,
all
I'm
right.
Torian unless we count the second birthday, at which point I become Leo.
I'm an April baby.
Leo's rule.
Everyone have a good night, and we will see you next week.
Yeah.
Bye,
Have a
guys.
good night.
All right. Night, everybody.
Good night.
Take care.
Data transfer complete. System malfunction. Please evacuate immediately. Program terminated.
Son of a biscuit eater.